do. Giggle on, it's gonna be great. Don't be late, let's celebrate. Science fiction on a screen so bright. Old classics and the new delights. The unapologetic geek will lead the way, with facts and fun to fill your day. Discussing every detail, every frame, from the eerie to the loud and the tame. Gig along with all that's great. Those Sunday vibes you can't debate. Tug along with the Sunday crew. Geeking out is what we do. Giggle on, it's gonna be great. Don't be late, let's celebrate.
Greetings and welcome to TUG Chat.
Hi,
Yes.
Greetings from South Carolina.
Southern California.
Rainy
up?
Florida.
And I want to wish
Dark side
everybody
of
a happy July 4th week. I want to be the first one to say it. Can't wait to celebrate independence and kicking England's ass.
America.
Oh, I thought it was from the
America.
aliens. I get confused. Shoot. All right.
We don't pay taxes on our tea, except that we actually do.
Dang. That was not a good
Oh,
motto at all.
Just
No.
changed who we're paying taxes.
I like how in Washington D.C. they have the their license tag, their motto is no taxation without representation. But if you live in D.C., you get taxed, and you don't have a representative in Congress. What?
There you go.
Don't matter because we live in the United States and because we're fully representative in the House of Representatives, they can tax us till it hurts.
And they do. They do.
Yes, it hurts. Please stop.
They do, and they will.
Anyway, enough politics.
All
America.
right. America. Damien, what was that?
Huh?
Huh?
Who went, huh?
He's just a spy. Leave him alone.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I'm a plant.
Yeah, there you go.
Ah.
So
That
today
explains
we're going to
everything.
talk about a subject that I've been meaning to get Sarah on here to talk about forever, and that is the Star Trek Next Generation movies. Now, on my channel, I've talked about the original series movies to death. I've got a whole compilation of all 6 of those reviews. You can go check it out when this is over. But I really want to talk about the Next Generation movies because the Next Generation is what I grew up with. Yet, I mean, sure, I grew up with the original series movies. I watched those with my family and everything, but Next Generation is closer to my heart just because, again, that's what I grew up with. But before I did it, I had to make sure I watched all 4 of them again because while I really do remember them, except for Insurrection, I really needed a refresher. So I did that over the last couple of days. I watched all 4 of them. So they're fresh in my head. So before we get started,
I've never heard of TNG. What is this?
This is TNG you
There's
speak
something
of.
wrong with
Never
me.
heard of this.
There's something wrong with me. So in preparation for this, I watched 4 Star Wars movies.
yeah, I think you got the memo wrong.
Wow. That's
That was to remind me after I watched them just how freaking really much better the Next Generation movies were.
yeah.
yeah,
It-
I'm not
yeah.
gonna,
Wow. Tortured yourself for no
Yeah.
reason. It's crazy.
I needed to do it also because like my wife wanted to go through Discovery recently. She wanted to watch the whole thing. And
Oh.
we've been watching that as a family, and I've tried really hard to not hate it.
Yeah.
But I've failed. It's awful, and I hate
Everybody
it.
Right?
And
Correct. Yeah.
worse than that was the last couple of seasons of this crap called Picard.
Well,
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll get into that.
Listen,
Do we
the
have
first
to?
season of that was just enough to make me
Because
never
we're supposed
watch
to talk
that
about the
again.
movies, not the
No,
series.
we're not going to talk about like the details. We're just going to mention it when we talk about how these movies are a much better send off for the next
Yeah.
generation crew. than Picard was.
Picard is just you know,
It's like fan
it's
fiction.
fan,
That's
it's
what-
fan
yeah.
service is what it is.
It's not
Yeah,
even
it's-
that. It's no. I don't know what that is. That was just like not even close. I never once wanted to go, where did this Romulan get this accent from? No way. These are questions that, I mean, why do we have Doctor Who as tools now? Like,
I
what
don't
is
know
this?
if it was.
See, I always take the devil's advocate side. There is nostalgia goodness about it. There are a couple of things I liked about it. And damn, it was good to see Q and Picard on screen again. It did the heart good nostalgia-wise. It made me feel good. And
No, it
then
did a lot of good nostalgia.
and it made me freaking cry.
Yeah, the plot was stupid.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Well,
You got to see it,
anyways,
man.
that's what takes.
Look at the bright side.
Oh my gosh. Dan cried as the bright side? What is this? What happened just now?
What's that?
Anyways, moving forward.
Okay, I want to say hi to the people in the chat before we really get started. And I'm not going to highlight the many different personalities of Danny Staten. Snark is here. Hello, Snarky.
Speaking of multiple personalities, hey, Snarky.
Nice. Skeleton is here. Hello, Skelly.
Hi, Skelly.
Just Carowin is here. Channel
Morning.
member Texas Knight is also here. Let's see. We got Tim.
Tim.
Hello, Tim.
Greetings,
We've
Tim.
got Tracy.
He's been in the hospital. He just
Oh
got out
my
of the hospital.
Why is he in the
Oh,
hospital?
good God! Are they taking that alien implant out of him?
No, Dan. Anyways, no, it's just congestive heart failure. Yeah, he was in the
Ooh.
hospital for like 3 days.
Good luck, man. I have way too much of that in my family. Anyway, yeah, if you missed my stream last night, Tracy, yeah, I don't even remember what the joke was, but I was practically on the floor. I lost it. She really got me by surprise.
There you go.
No,
See,
I
Michael,
got scream.
Oh, and
joke, right?
Tracy.
yeah, I have to rewatch it because I don't remember what it was.
And Tracy, happy birthday too. It was her birthday yesterday, everybody.
Right, she's sweet 16. Yeah.
What? She's younger than me now? How this happen?
I think it involved the word "cum," though. Just saying.
It did.
I was on the Norwell the whole time. Don't bother me with this stuff.
Oh, thanks, Tracy. Yes, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm terrible at saying
and-
I thought she was putting the joke in chat.
Yeah, you
And,
should.
and
Okay.
Geek Culture 101, he's been under the weather too, so it's good to see him up and about.
Okay. And yes, Indie Spots. Greetings, channel member Indie Spots.
Yes, he's around.
So I'm
he's
like
not-
the only one. By the way, I'm the only one of the old guys you called out who's alive, kicking, sitting up here, happy and healthy, doing a live stream. Keto for life, guys.
All right.
I can't do keto. Like I can't give up pasta and rice. I can't do it. I've thought about it, but I can't do it.
I
When
can
the
give up
time
rice.
comes-
It's
when the time
bread and
comes-
potato chips for me.
Yeah.
No, when the time comes, there are some potato chips you can eat. When the time
Yeah, I know.
comes, and the doctor
Expensive.
looks at you and says, if you don't do something, your life's going to be insulin in the stomach and you're going to have needles stuck in you. You will find the willpower to make changes in your life. Trust me.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hate needles, man.
Me
That
too.
was what done it for me. The threat of needles in me every day. Oh shit, my life just changed.
Family show.
Mm.
oh yeah. Watch your language. Let's see. Hello, Jennifer Warshniak. I'm gonna hope I didn't butcher that.
Oh, you did. Don't worry.
Like you said, Geek Culture is here. Do.
He's epic.
And
Well,
did I
you
say hi to
know.
Slasher Fred? Hello.
Well, you
Yeah.
know.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with Star Trek Generations, the first one.
Woo.
And I'm gonna go ahead and lay this out. I love this movie, except I hate the Nexus as a plot device. I think it is very, very flawed, and it pisses me off a lot. And sometimes my feelings about the movie get hampered because of how much I hate the Nexus.
But right?
100% agree with you on that.
Yeah.
The Nexus was a very mediocre plot device.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah. Anyway,
they could have figured out something else.
Yeah, they should have figured
literally
something
anything
out.
else. Yeah,
Yeah.
anything else would have been pretty much better.
I mean, like the realization that every single thing that happens after Star Trek Generations could still be in the Nexus. It could just be Picard living out his fantasy. I mean, that would explain Picard. Really bugs me. The fact that they just leave, okay, and they decide to pick that specific point in time when they could go literally anywhere, anywhen. They go like with 4 minutes left before they have to do something. And where's the other Picard? Wouldn't he still be there? Like,
right. Anyways, so I'm thinking that Picard series is all because he's still in the Nexus because he can't get out of that. There's poor writing in the beginning.
That's the only explanation for
he never left the
robot
Nexus,
Picard.
Yeah, because that was just awful. And there you go. I fixed it. You're welcome.
So time has no meaning in the Nexus, so they could be in there for 10,000 years and then just, enjoy all of their fantasies and then go to the planet and end that whole problem,
or not,
or whatever, or not, whatever. We like it here now.
yeah, and that's how come that Romulan's got that accent now because Nexus doesn't make sense. So there you go. I've solved it all, everybody.
Yep.
You're welcome.
But I agree. I do love this movie, but the Nexus thing just completely screws it up. But beyond that, the opening sequence, you gotta love the beginning of the movie.
Oh, I do.
With
you got Cameron as the captain. I can't remember Captain Harriman or something like that.
Everything arrives on
Cameron
Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was because of that movie. Everything arrives on Tuesday. I say everything. I'll do everything on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
Because of that,
Let me guess.
Movie.
Next Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yeah. Tuesday, everybody. Yeah, I'll get everything together on that Tuesday. Whenever that Tuesday is, it'll be together.
Yep.
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Or whatever it is. Tuesday.
And you have like human Tuvok on the crew, and there was
Yep.
one other like, cameo. In there.
Human Tuvok. It's funny.
Yeah.
I think in Voyager they even tried to retcon that to be it was actually Tuvok, but like
it was Tuvok though on Excelsior with Sulu. That's what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, and it was just terrible. Anyways, why?
Well, I know Dan likes Voyager, so I'll keep my mouth shut. So.
Well, I like Voyager too, but
I like some things about Voyager. I can think of 7 of 9 things I like about it.
Oh, yeah.
So the
I've only a lot of things I like about that.
2, 7, and 9. Mostly 2 things on 7 or 9. But, I really like her a lot. Now, I think that made the series. But Generations. I could go on one of Dust rants, man. Where would I begin?
Yeah, go for it, man. Let us have it.
It's one of the few movies that makes Star Wars looks good. except for The Force Awakens, it might be slightly better than that. And it's definitely better than anything involving a freaking Ewok. So but it makes the rest of Star Wars looks pretty good. But I did not like the Nexus. I'm with you. I hated the Nexus. Any movie that starts with something bad happening to Captain Kirk ought to be, I don't know what to think about it. And then not did they kill him once, but these guys killed him twice, man. Whoever wrote that movie, they're the ones that should be took out in the desert.
And the way he died at the end, it was just that.
It's unsatisfying. It's not a very.
He should have died on a starship bridge. We
went back and got his body, buddy, and it's on a spaceship somewhere in Section 9. Kurt will be back. Just so you know.
Yeah, I believe there were some books that Kirk got assimilated by the Borg, and therefore thusly is a Borg now. I'm like, oh well, this has just gotten worse. Anyways, so like, I find good things about movies and bad things about movies. I hate what they done with Kirk. I think the special effects in this movie were superb, over the top good, blows most stuff away. And once again, it's for adults. It's a lot more of an intelligent script, even though the Nexus is like the weakest plot point that ever existed. It really is. It's right, and it's like if it was wrestling, it'd be called lazy booking because you couldn't come up with nothing no better than that.
That's pathetic. They are good points. Like I said, the
Mhm.
special effects are really good.
Oh yeah, I liked it when they
Mhm.
reused the Star
Patrick
Trek
Stewart's
6
acting is, as
uh,
usual,
scene.
Shakespearean. Shatner did a pretty good job of it. And you got Malcolm McDowell. And if nothing else, you got to give it a brownie point for having Malcolm McDowell in it. Do you not agree? Because
I do.
his acting kind of is really, really crazy over the top.
But
Just
that's Malcolm McDowell.
he's like
Well,
the
yeah.
Riddler. He's like the Riddler of Star Trek. He's just a really bad guy. So I give it that, but overall I give it a thumbs down. I didn't like the movie. I didn't like the Nexus, and I cried. I said, "It's a Star Trek movie. You couldn't do no better than this." And
Okay, all right.
by the way, on this list, spoiler, there was movies I liked less coming up.
I mean, I got
Yeah,
to say,
Wow.
I did like Generations. You know, the whole Data with the emotion chip thing. You know,
when he finds
just
his
it was
cat.
hilarious the whole damn time. You know,
Yes,
Mister
I
yes.
hate
Tricorder.
this. I still do this all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Comedy,
Right.
boy, that just really makes my day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, I was a
I hate
Brent
this.
Spiner
I would like some more.
fan.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Yes. Would you like some more, please? Yes.
Yeah.
Love that part.
I love it when he's
Oh.
like he's holding his cat and he's just like crying. It's just
Yeah. Oh, and
Yeah.
when the ship's about to go, like it turns towards the
Yeah.
planet and starts to go down, he goes, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, yeah,
It's like, yeah, that's awesome,
You
Data.
know, I would okay. So when my family and I went to go see that movie. Now I was an 8th grader. Okay, so yeah, I was cool. I swear. Anyways, the theater we went
Always
to,
that prisoner.
the theater I went to was doing 2 movies. It was doing Stargate and it was doing Star Generations. Right. So of course, boom, had to go see them. Right. Anyway, Stargate, awesome. Generations, wow. I think there's that one point in the movie where he looks at his family photos and he's crying. I remember thinking in the theater, "Oh, that's so sad." Ah! What's wrong with me? Anyways, it's great, everybody. It happened.
Yeah,
Anyways,
Picard has some really tender moments in that movie. You know,
Yes,
after his nephew dies and whatnot. You
But-
know?
He has
yeah,
definitely has
I
some
know.
time to shine as an
But this
actor.
is still
Yeah.
the same movie where they just kind of like throw Crusher in the water for no reason. I mean,
That was weird. Yeah, but
yeah,
like
you know.
they tried to use that as a way to segue into Data
Yeah.
putting in his emotions.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
did
that's
not. That was so clumsy.
but
It was
it's
like,
very clumsy.
yeah, it was like,
But-
Yeah.
The whole movie kind of suffers because like they're trying to do way too much in one movie,
right.
and they also
do
threw
anything
this movie
good.
together in like 6 months, which is
Yeah,
insane.
it's never a good sign.
Yeah.
The first part of the movie where like he's supposed to do that base jumping or whatever the heck it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, I had to do a book report on a stupid movie because I didn't want to read the book. So I had to like read the first page, just that part of it, so I could write something for that. Because if I just skip the whole thing, they're gonna know I didn't read it. Anyways, that's how we get A's.
I do appreciate how Generations is trying to, it's about legacy, it's about aging, which is pretty much all Star Trek movies, weirdly enough, are all about aging. But
They got old.
It works really well in this one, I think. Like the
Mm.
themes all like blend together with the various characters dealing with, maturing and changing and all that. And yeah, Malcolm McDowell does deliver some lines that are a little they're a little over the top, and they're laying out the theme a little too clearly, but still, I mean, it's Star Trek. It's
His
never been
performance-
subtle.
Time is the predator stalking you.
Some
Time
parts
is
of Malcolm
time,
McDowell's
which we
performance
do.
in that movie reminded me of Jim Carrey's as the Riddler. So over the top like that.
Mm-hmm.
I much prefer Malcolm McDowell to Jim Carrey.
Yeah, but he'd make a better Riddler too. There you go.
Look, all I wanted now was some drugged milk for my Star Trek, and this would have been really good. Because Malcolm McDowell, right? Drugged milk.
But I also want to say, like,
Popcorn.
Generations, when it first came out, I was really disappointed. I really was not happy with it. But like over time, and especially this last time I watched it, like maybe because my expectations were on the floor, I freaking loved it. I think it was great. Like,
Yeah.
So
The
maybe-
entire scene where the
Deserves
Enterprise
a
gets
second chance.
destroyed, I mean, granted, it's like, how's a 30-year-old Klingon bird of prey gonna do that?
Yeah. I do want to point out that
It's-
the two times
really-
the Enterprise crashes in these four movies, who's at the helm?
Huh?
Who's at the helm? The two times the Enterprise crashes during these four movies. It's in
Data?
this one and the last one. No,
Worf.
Oh,
it's Troy.
Troy.
Oh,
Oh, that's
what a woman
right.
he
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, really. She's the one driving.
Yeah, well, anyways, and then you make me Troy. That's awful. What are
I
you
don't
saying
remember
about
that.
me?
I would have sworn it was Data.
She's just a
Data
bad
was
driver.
in his usual spot, but he wasn't
Yeah,
driving
he's-
the ship. That was
Yeah, he's
Troy.
at
Troy was
at
the-
whatever that is, operations
yeah,
or
ops.
whatever.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
at ops. Troy's at the helm.
Navigation, yeah. Or helm, yeah.
Well, anyways, don't invite Troy anywhere. She's just a crotcher anyway. Don't invite Troy, everybody. Just don't, okay? She just be like, it's a violation. That's all she ever says.
Hey, she worked really hard to become a bridge officer. So, there was that whole episode
Sure.
of TNG where she
her promotion was way more satisfying than Worf's in this movie.
Mhm.
So yeah.
We talked about Worf jumped and he got the hat. That was amazing. Did he jump?
Well, apparently, from what you're talking about, the way it turned out, we'd be better off with the emergency command hologram.
Yes.
And yeah, Marinus Sirtis is a total sweetheart.
He's
I
like-
always get a lot of flack because in the Troy versus Crusher debate, I always pick Troy and everybody else always picks Crusher. So
Well, no, see, look, I like Ensign Rowe, okay? But she's stabbing in the back first chance she gets, so.
okay, Ensign Rowe was
Careful.
awesome, yes. And I really wish Kira had been Rowe. That was like the original plan for Deep Space Nine.
Well,
Right,
hey,
yeah.
Star Trek The Next Generation made the ultimate mistake. They killed off the hottest character in the freaking first season when they took Tasha Yar out. Every
With
young
Will.
man in the world was in love with this
Well,
character, and they
she-
freaking killed her with chocolate pudding.
Hey,
Well, look.
she was leaving Star Trek to go pursue, what was it, a movie? I
A
think,
movie
or something?
career, yeah.
Yeah, her
she was
movie
in
career.
Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she left
Oh, yeah.
Star Trek. It wasn't the
Pet
other way around. They had to kill her off because they had no choice.
Oh, yeah, they had a choice. You don't kill her off. You just don't have her on TV for a few episodes. She's in training or something. She's
Yeah.
sick. She's on the pleasure planet on vacation. You don't have to freaking kill her with
Pleasure planet.
chocolate pudding.
Transferred to another starship or something. Yeah.
They did
You don't
eventually
have-
bring her
you don't
back.
Yeah, they brought her back. They brought her back in that one where
That's
she was still
Romulan.
alive,
That's Romulan.
Yeah. And she goes into the
She
past
wasn't
and
still
then
alive. That was
you
her
know.
daughter, and it
Yeah.
wasn't cool because she was a feather-headed Romulan.
She was awesome. I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Oh.
She made a great Romulan. You got to
I
give her
loved
that.
her.
You know?
She was
Yeah.
great.
She's a great
Yeah.
actress. If they had kept her alive, she could have been in many sequels and many parts. They killed her off with chocolate pudding.
And then they did bring her back again in the final episode where Ricard is like
It was
jumping
dirty
through
motor oil. Dirty motor oil, not
Dirty
chocolate
motor
pudding.
oil,
Come on.
evil oil slick.
Yes.
Poor Artemis.
Star
has a
Trek has a
name.
history. Star Trek has a history of robbing you of good stuff. That ain't the first hot chick that disappeared from Star Trek. They had an instant pull the same thing back in the day.
Yes.
Anyway.
It was
So anyway, does
devastating.
anybody have anything else to say about Generations? We should probably move on.
It's probably my
Tuesday.
number two of the
It's everybody's number two, dude.
yeah.
I knew Dan was gonna go there. You left that wide open.
I
Dan.
did. I didn't even realize it at the time. Thanks for catching that. Yeah.
I give it a
Yeah.
I give it
Yeah.
I give it a 50-50 because there's things about it I like and there's things
Mhm.
about it I don't like. But overall, it's a Star Trek movie with Malcolm McDowell and William Shatner.
Mhm.
So, well, you have to kind of live with it and without hating it too much.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Whoopi
yeah,
Goldberg is
there's-
good in it as Guinan. Like she's really good. in it.
Mhm.
You had to bring
I mean,
that up.
Well,
That just-
anyways, she's
Nah,
trapped in there.
now you brought it back down a little bit. Now I got a different view. I got a little different view of the movie.
I wouldn't know what that would be. That's crazy.
I will say the Nexus looked cool.
Yeah,
Like, it was
did,
a very
yeah.
cool special effect.
Yeah.
But where did it go, and why didn't Starfleet already know about it? What?
Yeah. If it's
Well,
periodic
anyways,
and it
just
comes
do
back
nothing.
every so
It's
often
not
as
very
it does
good.
in the
I got a better question. Where's it at now, and how the hell do I get there?
Yeah, true. I also,
'Cause I'd be like Malcolm McDowell. I'd fly my ass right up in the middle of it and stay there, hanging out with Captain Kirk, riding some horses, getting high.
And that's another plot thing, a plot hole. Is like, why couldn't you just get yourself in a suit and like get shot into it or something? You know, I mean, I realize a ship would get blown up in it, but even if the ship got blown up, as they proved in the movie,
you'd still go in.
You still go into it. You just get vaporized into the
Kirk,
Nexus. Yeah.
So
it's like, why was it so? Why did he have to
Nexus,
destroy a planet or an entire solar system over getting into the Nexus when he could have just taken a shuttlecraft into the damn thing? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, 2 solar systems. Yeah.
I also I appreciate what they did with the character work. Like, I get that Picard wants out of the Nexus because of his duty, and Kirk is the one who figures out that there's no thrill in it. That makes sense from a character standpoint, but it's way too easy. It is way too easy. They've oversold the Nexus as this place you're never going to want to leave. And then, like, within minutes, Picard wants to leave, and within maybe like 10 minutes, Kirk wants to leave. That's
I like how there's like no firewalls between each person's reality. You know, Picard's just like, bam, I'm gonna go visit Kirk. Like, it comes into Kirk's stream. Kirk's just standing there chopping wood. You know,
how long had Kirk been in the Nexus? Maybe it was time to go. Had he been like 80 years? Or
80 years.
From his point of view, he just got here too. That's what the movie says.
And I'm talking about his
anyway, so time means nothing. So what are we doing?
I mean, you got a point there, Dad. He could have been there a long time, but he seemed like he was just figuring it out for the first time.
But time has no meaning in the Nexus, so even if he'd been in there for 80 years, it could have been 10 seconds in his world.
It don't matter where you out. Time always has some meaning. Trust me.
Not in the Nexus.
It's the same thing. It just lasts longer.
It's kind of like, you know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You know, time has no meaning in the Nexus. It's kind of, you know, anyway.
Oh yeah,
well, right.
If you read the news,
friendship surprise lasted.
I just want to know why did Picard?
If you read the newspapers, really, if you read the newspapers, you'll learn that everything that happens in Vegas don't stay in Vegas. You could ask OJ if he was still alive.
Okay. Carowin, I did not know that. I did not know that Malcolm McDowell and Alexander Shiddig were related. I had no idea. That's cool.
Wow.
I love that guy. He was good in what was that show? Game of Thrones. He was in Game of Thrones. He was really good in that.
Oh wow, they have lots of Starbucks in there.
Starbucks. Anyway, so Star Trek First Contact.
Yes. Moving on.
It's First Contact. Now let me tell you about First Contact.
Again, I'm conflicted on First Contact. I really like that it brings back this sense of adventure that, like, I feel like Generations kind of glossed over because Generations was so busy. There was so much going on. I feel like First Contact really, like, it really feels like you're in Star Trek. You're in like an epic story, and the fact that the Borg are the bad guy is awesome. I love the Borg, but also the Queen kind of. I don't mind the existence of the Queen. Like, that's fine. You could have a figurehead as long as you like determine that is like the combination of the collective consciousness just as a figurehead. I get that. That's fine. But if you kill the Queen, all the Borg die. That you've completely defanged the Borg. Like, completely. They are no longer terrifying.
This was the introduction of the Queen too. She hadn't been in
Alice
yet.
Kriege, the actress, amazing, freaking amazing.
Oh yeah. I remember watching.
Oh, she did a great job. Yeah.
I remember watching all those special effects stuff that they had going on the news after, like, you know, Star Trek episodes and stuff like that. They would talk about it, whatever. And I'd be like, look at all the cool special effects. Now I look at that stuff now, and I'm like, God, I miss practical effects that they used to do here. Look at how much better that would look, you know. Now everything. I mean, like, dude, Chance played that new Superman trailer. I was like, oh, that's just a CGI mess.
It's just CGI vomit, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that looks like a rubber thing there. What is this? What?
Or just look at like the Borg Queen from Picard.
Yeah,
night and day. Like, she looks terrible. It's all CG. It doesn't look like anything.
Yeah. Anyways, awful.
The Borg
My
Queen
point.
in First Contact was as far as I'm concerned, the best of all of the people that have played the Borg Queen.
I
Oh.
completely agree.
Yeah,
Alice Creech killed it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well,
And the whole giving Data the temptations of the flesh. I mean, that's awesome. That's
well,
very
he's fully
cool.
functional, so that's even funnier.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is fully
that
functional.
that
yeah.
fully functional line, and how long has it been, and he knows it down to the second. That makes me laugh every time.
And then I just think of Tashiar, and I just go.
And the fact that the Borg Queen like comes onto him at one point, she's
I will,
like,
yeah,
I will go
totally.
as far as to say,
she's like, you sexy android, you.
Okay, Dan, you'd go so far as to say.
wow.
Yeah.
I just saw some kind of glitch in the matrix when I said that. But anyway,
Okay.
I go as far as this movie is probably my favorite of all the Next Generation movies. I like it better
It's the
than
highest
any
rated of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it had all the great action. I like it a lot, and plus you get to see the Ephraim Cochrane thing, the whole rock and roll music thing
Mhm.
back in
I
time.
do love that.
I love the
Okay.
whole concept.
So, yeah, that's pretty
plus,
funny.
It
Continue.
ties into one really good episode of the the show Enterprise, where some of the Borg come back and are dealt with by Archer and his crew. And I love the tie back thing they done in that.
Yeah,
It's one of the
Yeah, that
few
was nice.
times. It's one of the few times something that happened in a movie makes it to one of the series.
Yeah, and it was a very clever way to put the Borg in Enterprise, because the Borg had no
Mhm.
business being in Enterprise. But
Well,
if
I
you could
also-
go back to First Contact, it kind of makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I love
I,
it. man.
I also think it's funny.
I love the time travel stuff like you do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Me
well,
too.
yeah.
And the thing I love about Star Trek is that the time travel can be whatever this, like, normally I would hate this, but in Star Trek, the demands of the story are what dictate what kind of time travel you're dealing with. Like, the time travel rules in Star Trek do not exist. They are whatever the story wants them to be. And I love that. I think that
Well,
frees
yeah.
up the writing to do whatever it needs to do, which I think is
Like
great.
in Star Trek 4, where they just drive around the sun real fast.
Right. Just go around the sun.
Well,
That makes
yeah.
sense.
Well, yeah, you know, they did
Just
that.
go real
in-
fast around the sun.
Okay,
and
once
you travel through
again,
time.
wait a minute. Hold on. Once again, if you go back to the original series, Spock knew these computations because he had went
Yep.
back in time before on that mission where they discovered a crazy alien with the cat and all that.
Yep.
First episode, the one with Terry Garr in it.
Mhm.
Ah, that was Terry Garr, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's how I remember that episode. The one thing that I click on is that hot cat that turns into the cat turns into this hot chick, and Terry Garr's in it. That's what I remember from that episode.
When was the
That is
Borg
my
Queen
cat.
on Deep Space Nine? Don't
The Borg
remember the
Queen-
Borg Queen being in Deep Space Nine.
It was not.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe
but
you're
no,
thinking Voyager.
The
in
Voyager,
Voyager,
yeah.
they had a Borg Queen, but it was not the same actress.
Yeah,
Alice
it's a
Krige
different
No, it was-
actress. Yeah.
didn't do it.
Actually, she did pretty good too. I was pretty impressed by her.
Yeah, she wasn't bad, but Alice Creech just
I have
she,
no clue who
Well,
that
yeah,
was.
if
she
you can't
ruined
get-
the role for anybody else.
Well, yeah, you know, it can't be her. Well, you can do your best job. I can do my best. It's good enough. There you go.
Thank you, Texas Night. I knew somebody would know the name of the episode. I couldn't
Other
think
than
of
the main crew, I'm not sure I can name too many people on the Next Generation.
it. Let me think. Where was I? First Contact. Yes. I do like. Again, it's about legacy. It's about how we determine our legacy and how we feel about our legacy, and it ties into Data dealing with the temptations of the flesh and how much does he really want to evolve, and is he tempted by the Borg, and which kind of represent the backwards version of what he wants to become more human. I get that. And Ephraim Cochrane doesn't want to be a statue. That's great. And James Cromwell nails it. He's awesome.
And people still
Mhm.
pee.
Yeah, he did a really good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. Take a leak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Still pee. It's great. It's amazing.
and obviously Picard. But I do feel like, okay, let me get this out. I love the Picard, this line, no further speech. I think it's great. I understand what the writing is doing. I appreciate how Patrick Stewart is acting, but I think it's way over the top. It's a little hard to believe that Captain Picard, this noble person who is like supposedly the paragon of virtue, is going to turn into Captain Ahab. It seems a little
self-control,
sudden.
so on and so
It's not
forth, yeah.
quite right.
Yeah.
And then like there's that one scene where he right when he goes into the ready room, and Alfre Woodard goes up to Crusher and says, "What? We're just going to ignore this?" And then Crusher, of all people, says, "When the captain has made his decision, that word is final."
Yeah, no.
Crusher would never say that.
No,
ever.
no.
Well, she's
Of
just
anybody
eager to
on the crew,
die.
she's the one that always questioned him the most.
Exactly. Of
Yeah.
anybody. Like, if
Yeah.
Worf had said that, sure, I'd buy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe she absolutely knew for certain, like I do, that he was right.
Nah, they should have blown up the ship.
Sometimes
Also,
you just have to do
Can we
what
talk
you-
about the Borg's plan? If they are about to be blown up and they're capable of transporting, and they transport over to the Enterprise just to get a signal out to the other Borg, I get it. Why don't they also beam like a single freaking nanite onto the Earth's surface? That's all they need
Yeah.
to do, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Technically, yeah.
and even then, later when they have the Enterprise and they know that things are going south, and they're not able to get the dish because they blow it up, right? They have control of the transporters.
Yeah.
Why don't they just transport to the surface? Problem solved.
Well, anyway,
They could transport to some like uninhabited island and grow their numbers and
Exactly, and take
yeah.
over the world that way.
Yeah.
And they can
But
build
they-
their own deflector dish.
They had to be
Yeah,
careful
exactly.
where they transport it down. Obviously, they don't work too good in cold weather.
right, I mean, yeah, they can be spaced and they can still be brought back to life. So,
Yeah.
there you go.
Also,
Yeah.
they have the capacity to time travel, and they don't use it until they're like in the heat of the battle, and they've got the Enterprise following them. Why wouldn't they do that somewhere else?
Yeah, they could have done that like, outside the solar system or away
Right,
from the
and then
battle,
gone
you know?
in.
Look,
Yeah.
look, they could have just been so much better writing. It's just
When you put it that way,
That whole I always thought
It
the
doesn't
beginning
bug
of that
me
movie-
nearly as much as the Nexus, but it does still bug me.
I always thought the
Not gonna
beginning
lie.
of Star Trek First Contact is the worst part of it. Just because it's like it feels so rushed
It does.
when it happens, it's like, oh, we're being ordered to the neutral zone and they go away and then they're like, oh, let's go and run in and save the day. It like takes them like 10 seconds to get there to the battle to save everything, but normally like going from the neutral zone to Earth would be like days.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's just like they just rush in, they take out the damn thing. They're like, oh, just do this,
Right.
blow it up, and then all of a sudden, bam, it squirts out its little ball, and it ejects, if you will, and and then they're in the past, and then all of a sudden, and then there's all
They
these
go on
plot holes
that.
having to do with all of that. So it's just like that was the part of that movie that really bothered me was just the first.
Don't forget
the whole,
they beam up Worf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, I want
Yeah,
you to
yeah.
know, Damien, it never bothered me till this moment.
I'm sorry to ruin it for you.
Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
I
I
like-
absolutely love First Contact.
I like
love
First
that it's Star
Contact.
Trek's stab at horror in like a Sam Raimi kind of
Mm-hmm.
way. I kind of dig that. They don't go too far with it. In
Mhm.
fact, I kind of wish they went further. But like little scenes, like that scene where they go into a cargo bay and the cargo bay is all fogged up, and then you start to see all the little red lights. That's awesome. That is so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, they did a really good job. Jonathan Frakes did a great job directing it. And I think this was his directing debut too, wasn't it?
I think so,
First
yeah.
Contact, yeah.
Yeah. Like he directed a few episodes, but he had never directed a movie before.
Yeah. But I think he did a great job directing, and I think overall, like the special effects, the feel, the ideas behind things. It's just what bothers me is the premise, at the beginning of how all of these pieces fall together, how these dominoes drop. It's just like if you step back and look at it, it's like, yeah, that doesn't make much sense. It's kind of like the Nexus. To me, the whole plot device to get to the past and why the Borg didn't do this instead of that. It's just there's too many holes in it. It's Swiss cheese.
And the movie's
So,
trying
yeah.
really hard to be
Yeah.
fast paced enough that you don't
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah,
Which
it's
I
supposed
think
to
for the
blow
most
right
part it
past
does
it,
succeed, but
Yeah.
like
Because you don't
I'm-
think about it until you
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
So
To me,
So.
it's like compared to the original movies, The Wrath of Khan was like the action movie.
mhm.
This movie that we're talking about is like the next generation Wrath of Khan movie, if you know what I'm
Basically.
saying.
Yeah.
It's just it's the one with all the action.
Mhm.
and it's
it's
also
good.
showing you a more vulnerable human side of the captain, which
Mhm.
also Star Trek 2 does.
And I liked how I know kind of off subject to all that, but Data can switch his emotion chip on and off in this one.
Oh,
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
when they're going through the hallways, like I'm
Yeah, I
feeling
thought it was fused
I'm
into his
feeling
neural
something.
net.
I think it's called anxiety or something like, or fear. And Picard's like, now is not the time for emotions.
And he turns it off, and
Yeah,
Picard's
turns it
like,
off. I feel much
Mr.
better now."
Data, sometimes I envy you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, well, anyways, I thought it was all fused into his neural net. It can never be any type of fixed. And
Yeah.
you're just
I
gonna
can
be
excuse
forever.
that because like they're on
Next
adventures
movie,
on their own
yeah.
ship, and
Mhm.
like
Uh-huh.
things could have
So
changed.
next
in that
adventure is
time.
like
Geordi
I
figured
turn
it
off
out.
and on, no
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah.
Geordi figured it out. The one who said
Yeah.
it couldn't be done. Awesome.
That bothers you, but like Geordi not having his visor anymore is fine. It's
Yeah.
the same thing. It's just progression of character
Mhm.
off
Look,
screen.
He
fine, I
finally
can believe
sprung
eyes.
for the contacts instead of
Yeah,
the glasses, you know.
I can believe that, right? Because he never wanted
I
to
would
before
think,
because
I would
it
think in
caused
that
headaches.
advanced, I would think in that advanced future, he would look like everybody else.
Mhm.
They can replace arms and body parts and all that. They can fix his eyes, and you couldn't even be able to tell. That visor shouldn't even be necessary.
Well, that's
Well,
what
the thing
Malcolm
is-
McDowell was saying in Generations. Wouldn't
Well,
you
yeah,
wanna
but the whole
be more
time,
normal.
Yeah.
people had said to him, "Do you want to have prosthetic eyes?" And he's like, "No, because I get headaches." That was like his big, excuse. That's why he never did them. I get headaches. I'm like, oh, in the future, you can't do anything for that, huh?
But apparently, in the future, headaches are extremely rare. Like there was that one episode with the Ferengi where Picard starts.
Well,
to
yeah,
get
he
headaches.
was getting a headache. She's like, "You're dying."
Headaches. Ah!
How did you get those?
Don't they have
Captain,
Advil
nobody
in the
gets those
future?
anymore.
They don't have ibuprofen in sick bay.
No, apparently not.
Yeah, NSAIDs were banned by the Kittimer Accords.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Keep it handy, just in case.
Exactly. At our ages, ibuprofen is a fixture.
A lifesaver.
Right?
Yes,
Look,
it is,
I mean,
there are bottles everywhere in this house.
right? I have
Same.
one more.
You got 'em
I'm
in, like, every
surprised I don't
bedroom.
have one within reach like you
Yeah,
guys.
me too.
It's just over there, but it's not within reach.
You do enough live streams with the people we do live streams with, you'll keep a bottle handy too.
You're not wrong.
There you go. Anyways, yeah. So I'm trying to stay awake.
I also liked the Neelix cameo where he plays one of the holodeck characters. Like the actor who plays Neelix also plays one of the holodeck characters. Which
Yeah.
I think was fun.
Yeah.
And you also
Oh, I
got the emergency medical hologram.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Robert
yeah.
Picardo, probably my
Yes.
favorite part of Voyager outside of 7 of 9.
Right.
Yeah.
I really like the one episode of Voyager where he's the daydream one where he can't stop daydreaming, and these other aliens keep watching his daydreams, thinking they have all these crazy weapons. Freaking amazing! Such a great episode. Woo. Anyways, I recommend Blue Dream while accompanying that episode. Makes it great.
I could keep talking about First Contact forever because
Yeah.
like I've seen it probably the most of all four of these. Because I do feel like it's the most fun without being too silly, which we'll get to in a minute.
Silliness.
I don't know. I really, really like First Contact just as entertainment. I think it nails the spirit of Star Trek entertainment. That's what I was trying to get at the beginning. It really feels like a Star Trek adventure, but like it's fun. I mean, yeah, it's like Star Trek attempt at horror, but it's not scary. It's just fun. But yeah, that's my final thought on First Contact for now. Unless anybody else has anything else to say.
Loved it.
No.
Thought it was the best. Thought it was the best of the Next Generation movies. Unlike the stinking turd we're going to talk about next.
I liked the whole part where they're in Bozeman, Montana, which I think is a fictitious place.
Yeah, it's not real.
Yeah. Where they're just, doing their thing, got a jukebox and liquor and, all of that. I thought that was pretty
once
neat.
again,
Yeah.
you're saying
Yeah.
fictitious place, but if it takes place on 200 years in the future, who's to say it's not a place?
Well,
It takes
that's
place
only
in
like
2063.
Yeah, that's
So
only
right
like-
after
Okay,
right
well,
after
it could be
World
a
War
place
III.
in 2061.
But yes, the place could
Mhm.
exist then. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I do like, I question why the crew's not more freaked out about the fact that Picard left in a hurry and it sounded like the Borg were back and now they've lost all communication with the ship and they're just like, whatever, it's fine.
They must just be having,
That seems weird. But I
when-
do love I love LaForge interacting with Zefram Cochrane. I think that's great.
Mhm.
You've got the engineer fanboy talking to Zefram Cochrane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
was
like
awesome.
because it makes
I
Jordy
love
look like
that.
a real special case. You know, he's just
Mhm.
like just about as Barkley over there. You
Mhm.
know, that
I
much
love
better.
Troy
Oh,
getting
Barkley.
drunk. That
Yeah,
scene
that was
Oh,
great.
cracked me
Yeah.
up.
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Oh
I
yeah.
love the
They
fact
have the
Barkley was
time
there
to
for the
argue
little
about
ride.
time. This is the time.
It was
I like
cool.
that they had Barkley in the movie. You know.
Yeah, that he
It
was
Yeah.
just there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
What I'm
just there.
saying,
Yeah.
I'm glad Barkley was there for the ride because he was one of my favorite characters from the
Yeah.
series.
Yeah,
He
Oh,
was
yeah.
he was
He was
he
fun.
was important in the series. I mean, he
He
had that
was.
one whole episode where he was like he evolved and took over the entire Enterprise. You know,
That was a great one. He's like, yeah, I can't feel
Barkley
in
is
the
important.
holodeck.
Yeah.
Barkley's important to a lot of series. Barkley's the
Mhm.
one who gets in contact with Voyager for the first time.
That's true.
Yeah, he's
I also think like his inclusion in the cast is just a way of like representing, even if you're a weird ass dork, which most
Mhm.
Star Trek fans are. Let's face it.
I am not.
I am. I totally am.
Not
You can
me.
still be an integral part of the team, and I like that.
Mhm.
I think they take that idea way too far in Discovery because Discovery is imagining the entire crew as Barkley. That's Discovery.
No, I don't want
Not
that,
seen a
no.
single Discovery episode yet. So
Don't.
Well,
Look,
if
I
you
saw
wanna
the
go
one,
even
and
further-
I don't.
If you want to go even further, watch something called Lower Decks.
Lower Decks
yeah.
is funny though. Lower Decks is great. I like Lower Decks. That's funny. Ah.
I've actually never seen it.
Well, it's hilarious. I recommend that. Now that's funny.
It's animation. It's like a cartoon.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Yes, he
They actually
understands,
did a
he understands what
crossover.
animation means. It's crazy.
They actually did a crossover with one of the series, I think, maybe Discovery, where one of the animated characters pops over to that world.
I don't remember that. I'm not going to say it didn't happen because I've repressed a lot of what I've watched of Discovery.
Oh God! You gotta make me
Right.
Google.
Anyways, look, I saw the first one, and that. Anyways, it's just wow.
Yeah, geek culture. I know this is a tangent. I did like the first season of Discovery. I thought it had some really neat ideas. I question how many more half siblings we're going to discover for Spock, but other than that, I thought it was pretty neat. Then it just got more and more ridiculous as it went. And then they did the time travel into the future, and it just got dumb.
I can't.
It got so dumb.
I can't.
And I hate that it's a Star Trek show where all the good things that happen and all the problems are solved by one freaking person.
Oh, it was Strange New Worlds. I'm sorry.
I like
It's Star Trek. A guy from Lower Decks named Brad Boomerler crosses over to Strange New Worlds and he becomes a real person.
That must be a season 2 thing because I've only seen the first season.
I didn't get to watch none of that, but
I saw it on YouTube. That's the only reason I know about it. I saw the whole little clip part of it, like 20 minutes long.
I'm still trying to
I found it
recover.
fascinating.
The best thing about the future in Discovery was David Cronenberg, who's only in like 3 episodes, but he's great. Anyway.
But I was going to say the best thing about it is that I only saw that one episode and didn't see any more. Thanks to the Lord.
Hey, by the way,
all the time with him in the universe exploded. What?
You'd love it because you like the time travel thing. You would love this episode. They're on the planet that had that. The cartoon characters on the planet that had that gate thing that
Guardian of Forever.
Yeah, where they went back in time, and they're doing readings on it, and it starts emitting gamma radiation or something, and he clicks on it, and when he does, it sucks him in, and he's kicked out in a strange new world, and a Vulcan Spock standing there with a tricorder looking at him laying on the ground, and he's a real person. It's the time travel thing is it's so cool the way they went from animation to the real to the
that actually does sound fun, and I like that Brave New World is willing to be really goofy. It's the closest I think Star Trek has ever gotten to the original series, just in its tone and its style.
But they play him off as totally real, just a guy from their future, you know. It's really good episode. It's the only one I've seen pretty much, but of that season.
Yeah, and apparently Spock doesn't talk about his family enough. He's got so many half siblings; they're everywhere.
Right, that's crazy.
I guess they don't like go to Thanksgiving dinner together. There's no reunions.
Kind of in Strange New Worlds, Spock's kind of a player, and he be getting some from some girls up on the Enterprise, making you hurrah holler and stuff.
Well, I will say that the actress who's playing Nurse Chapel in in Brave New Worlds. Strange New Worlds. Amazing. Anyway,
Brave New World's something completely different.
Yeah. Star Trek Insurrection.
Can we just skip this one? Can we?
God, this is okay. Before this movie came, let me start. Before this movie came out, they leaked the script online. They leaked the screenplay. I'm not proud of it, but I did download it and I read it. And I thought to myself, this has to be a joke. This cannot be the script for this movie. It can't be. It's way too stupid. It's way too silly. It doesn't feel like Star Trek. It feels dumb. It starts with Data singing on a shuttlecraft. How is this going to be the movie?
Okay, that was funny. I like that.
Absolutely the movie.
I'm trying to remember it.
Just the oh yeah, this movie. It's like so.
So I was in high school.
It feels like a 2-part episode and not even a particularly good one.
Yeah, it feels like one of the 2-part episodes that you forgot about because it was like,
exactly.
yeah, what was the point of that? But the bad guys are these like, well, just people with bad plastic surgery. Like really,
and you got
really
great actors. You got F. Murray Abraham and Anthony Zerbe.
Oh, he was great in that role, but he did a really good job playing his character. But just the whole idea behind they're like the most mediocre bad guys of all time.
Yeah, he leaked out of his head. He's like, ugh.
Yeah. But it reminded me of that Doctor Who episode where the lady's like stretched, skin is all that's left of her. She's the last human.
I've never seen Doctor Who, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the last human or whatever, watching the planet Earth get swallowed up by the sun or whatever was going on. It reminded me of
Brazil.
Like, this is an early version of that.
Yeah,
it's like this is where that goes. Anyway.
Yeah.
And again, it's about aging. It deals with a lot of the same themes as Generations, just worse. Like it doesn't deal with them as well.
Well, anyways, there was some fermage happening.
And Picard learns how to stop time, and
that was amazing.
She asks him, "Do you know what it means to stop to have a perfect moment, to experience a lifetime in a single moment?" Yes, he does. He's done it.
He was in the Nexus.
No, not only that. In the show, he lived an entire lifetime on a stupid probe in like a couple of seconds and learned to play the recorder.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
That too. And then how many times did he have dealings with the Q where he had completely different timeline and then goes back to anyway.
I swear to God, I had to sit here just now and watch a trailer to remind me. I had tried so hard to put this crappy movie out of my mind. What a dismal nightmare. What a piece of shit. Oh.
What I always loved about it was they go to this planet in the middle of the briar patch that apparently nobody knew was there until just now, kind of thing. And there's these people there that are they're just human. They're human. They call themselves the Baku, but they're just like us.
Yeah. They don't even have like weird makeup on their up here.
There's no spots. There's no weird eyes. There's no eyebrows are the same. Nothing. They don't even have tail.
20 ears.
They've got all 5 fingers on each hand. They're just like us. It's like, but they're aliens, right? They're not a completely different species, but yet they look exactly like us. So it's like they got really lazy with that. Was my whole point.
I agree.
They came there. They didn't evolve there. They were in some kind of crack.
Moved there.
Yeah, I know they moved there, but they moved there from their home planet, so they're still aliens. They weren't humans. So at least that was
their home planet wasn't Earth. I mean, 10 million years ago or whatever.
Because they were warp capable. Anyway, it's explained in the movie.
Yeah, it's not cool. It's explained, but it doesn't really.
I like this big collector thing was really cool.
Yeah, that was neat.
I love the holographic ship.
Mm-hmm. But we're not talking about the biggest sin this movie commits, and it is a huge one. They shave Riker's beard.
Yeah, that was bad.
That's smoother than Android's bottom. That's pretty hot.
No. But him and Troy get back together. I mean, they're like, hey.
I have questions
How's it
about that
going?
because like they start flirting before they even get to the Briar Patch, and like the movie plays it off like they're only like getting back together because they've started to get the hormones from youth from going to the planet to the Briar Patch and all that. But this started before, so what?
And you know,
I didn't
know that-
notice the flirting before they went into the Briar Patch.
Well, yeah, Troy's like playing with his hair and stuff. Yeah,
No, they were already inside the Briar Patch. When
were
that
they?
happened. Yeah.
I don't know.
They were
Maybe
inside
you're
the
right.
entrance of the Briar Patch. And that's when they started feeling the
Maybe
whatever it was, radiation. I can't remember.
I
What
don't
they
know.
called it.
All I know is
Yeah, it's pretty.
Horny radiation.
Yeah.
Picard
What?
didn't
Horny
start
radiation?
dancing Macarena until he went down and visited the planet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, he was all dancing.
I think Data or Brett Spinner did a great job, and Data's character was really good in this movie. That's about it for me, though.
The acting wasn't the problem.
Yeah.
The
acting
acting
wasn't the problem. The acting
It
was
was
good
the
all around.
story.
It
The
just-
story was
was
horrible.
The
terrible.
problem was
Yeah.
the script. The
Yeah.
problem were
Well,
the-
anyways, they did that really cool shuttle scene where they were singing.
That was
and
neat.
there was,
Yeah.
that was amazing.
Sarah,
that
I have
was-
a feeling you like this movie.
Look, I like laughing a lot. It's really
Okay.
funny.
I
Don't you
just
guys
feel like
think
the
it's
humor
funny?
is really forced in this one. It feels like it's trying to
Mhm.
be a Marvel movie kind of attitude before Marvel
Well,
movies were even a
look,
thing.
look, all they
There's
wanted
a
to do was
difference.
make something as wonderful as Star Trek 4. They did not, but hey, look, I can laugh too. It's funny.
But
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
the singing Data in the shuttle was
Sarah.
funny. Yeah.
There's a big difference between laughing with the movie and laughing at the motherfucker.
movie.
Well,
That's a
look,
good point.
But look, I'm doing both. I'm doing both.
You like if you're watching Spaceballs, you laugh with it. If you're watching this movie Insurrection, you laugh the fuck at it.
Well, I both. I both. I mean, there was that really funny thing that happened at one point. I swear, it was in it. It's that one part of the thing where it was funny. Anyways, but great movie. Swear.
I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm not going to tell you your vote.
Again,
There were
Once
some
again-
interesting points to it. There were.
once
yeah.
again, to take both
Yeah.
sides, you got good special effects mostly.
Mhm.
You got our regular guys doing a great job working with what they had, even though their script was crap. Their director obviously had mental issues. They still did.
This was
We
also
still-
directed by
Yeah,
Jonathan
this was
Frakes.
Jonathan Frakes.
I didn't say that. You know, he obviously had a few mental issues and some personal problems going on. You know, it's not him.
I think
It's not his
Jonathan
fault.
Frakes was handed a very bad script and did as good a job as he could have.
I think he
Very bad
probably
script.
inserted that scene where he's in the
Yeah.
bubble bath with Troy. I think he.
Yeah, that's
probably-
what I was
Yeah.
going to say. He was too
Like,
much.
all
He
you
was
did.
too much. He was too much worried about changing the script so he could get all handsies with her instead of working on the serious stuff.
There's only so
You
much
gotta
you can do.
direct-
Well,
Like
Your
that's
director had a few mental issues, and it's not the movie's fault. And we learned that we shouldn't let him direct, right?
and
I
yeah,
mean,
geek. If I hadn't watched it just yesterday, and yeah, it was yesterday. No,
Mhm.
day before yesterday. I wouldn't remember
Whoa.
it. Like I barely remembered it. I had to watch it again. 'Cause
In,
it's so
Insurrection
good.
was the
I
one
did
I'd only
everything
ever
I
seen
could.
once
Hey,
See,
until
this is what I don't like
I
about
watched it again.
Okay, this is one of the things I don't like about Insurrection there, okay? Is okay, so Data, they said that Data could go underwater just fine. But there's like this episode of like TNG where they said the Data got wet and he couldn't be they couldn't get him from the bottom of the water, right? Like, he couldn't float up, he was like drowning.
Like he was like too heavy or something.
Yeah,
It's
so
like-
yeah,
hey,
anyways,
notice
guys
we're
are
all
like
anxious-
buoyant
We're all
and he's
anxious
just
to
going to
talk
water
because
just
we're talking
fine.
about Star Trek, and it's something we actually know all about.
Yeah. This is fun.
Everybody wants to say, yeah, you know.
But
It's a lot harder to control this one.
Yeah, Star Trek, really.
It's fine by me.
Well, anyways, it was really an amazing movie there now, guys. Whew.
One of
It
the
was
things
amazing, amazing anybody sat through it without barfing.
one of the
Dude.
things that got me about the plot with this whole thing was the whole idea of like the forced relocation, yet using the prime directive idea, like
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah.
keeping it hidden from them. It's like, oh, why does any of that matter? Why did they even attempt to do anything? Why didn't they just be like show up and be like, hey, we're taking this planet, it's in Federation space, you're not indigenous, but we'll move you over here. You know, it's like, oh, we don't want to go. Well, tough titty, you know, kind of thing. It's like it's a Federation planet, and you're not indigenous, and you don't belong here. They could have if they wanted to. You know, there's that whole eminent domain thing in the, you know, in the Federation. I'm sure. You know, to me, like the Sona weren't required, or not. Yeah, the Sona weren't required in this movie at all. This could have been just simply the Federation shows up, like Admiral, whatever his name was. What was his character's name?
Admiral guy from Omega.
Admiral Zeb or
no, it was like it was a really boring name. It was like Andrews or something.
Yeah. Anyway, Anthony Zerb.
Zerby. Yeah.
Zerby. Yeah.
Who's great. He's a fantastic actor.
Great actor. Yeah. But he could have just shown up and been like, you know, hey, we need this Fountain of Youth for, you know, the trillions of Federation citizens, and you know, bye-bye. Well, you know,
goodbye, Indy.
Bye,
Thank
Indy.
you for showing up. But like, I feel like you're right. It could either have been Starfleet, you know, totally taxed from the Dominion War, just doesn't care anymore, and they're willing to exercise their power. I get that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Or you have the exiles going back and trying to exact revenge. Either one would work on its own, but putting them together, it just it
made no sense.
Makes no sense, and it also makes both villains less intimidating because they're basically bitching at each other the entire movie.
Yeah.
They're like a married couple. It's annoying.
You know, it could have been either or. Yeah, either the Sona were completely not necessary, or the Federation was not necessary.
Exactly,
and let's just say that
but,
you know the Enterprise stumbles upon this conflict happening or something, or you know,
we got to find out
the
terrible truth
about the whole debacle.
What's
Let
your
me give
opinion,
you an opinion of the whole debacle. The studio didn't have no faith in old Jonathan. They knew he was weird.
When
they told him he could direct, so they cut the budget so bad they had to put a bunch of scenes of people running around in the fields with the flowers and playing around in caves because they didn't have money to do much else. That's
and some sort of strange skin stretching routine that they do. That one
I will say the space battle is pretty cool. Like
that strange stretching skin thing. That was old special effects they had laying around from the miniseries V. They just brought that crap out.
Like, hey, we found this in a box. We'll use this.
Latex, man. It's not hard.
There wasn't no big special effect.
The space scene or the space battle scene with the rip, the subspace rip or tear or whatever it was.
Cool.
And, they eject the core and it, Riker's like, Geordi, eject the core. He's like, I already did.
He's a great actor, and he could be a great like villain. I mean, Salieri from Amadeus. Come on.
Yeah.
Focus on him as a villain, and get rid of the Admiral and just make him the villain, and make him, you know, give him that level of Salieri like jealousy at his parents, his family, that he's been exiled from. And you could have a really great villain. He could be amazing. Instead, you've got him bickering with the Admiral for like 90% of the movie. And then he has one moment where he realizes he's on the hollow ship and he goes, "Wah!"
I was about to bring that up. That was great. Dude, awesome scream. 2 thumbs up on that scream. That was awesome.
I was just happy that it used the Wilhelm scream. Do you know how excited I was that it was not that Wilhelm scream? I was like, look, it's like an original scream. Everybody, look, it's an original scream like that. I was excited about that. I don't like the Wilhelm scream.
Now that was good. I'll give that one part good.
One moment is
that one moment. 2 thumbs up for the mediocre bad guys.
I also think the final battle with Picard and F. Murray Abraham's character, whose name I don't even remember, fighting each other on the weird firing mechanism thing. It was very.
It was Adhar Ruafo.
While
it was a Star Trek movie, just because of that reason, I said, okay, it was a Star Trek movie, yay. I have seen episodes of Voyager and Enterprise that I have enjoyed 100 times better.
Yeah, same.
And agreed.
But I will say that Insurrection is definitely better than, say, Star Trek 5. Like,
there was the three.
It's not in the class.
Was awesome.
It's nowhere in the class of none of the original movies. Even the crappiest one with laughing Vulcans you can think of is still 10 times better than this piece of shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Data talking about his boobs than DeForest Kelly singing "Row, Row, Row You Boat." I'm sorry.
Well, let's put it
They're both
this
bad.
way. You're not
Yeah.
But there's
wrong.
one I would prefer over the other.
It don't matter. I like anything William Shatner was in ever more than this movie.
I know. No, like, don't get me wrong. I
Oh,
don't
even
like this
TJ
movie.
Hooker.
Anything
Ah,
in an airplane screaming at something on the wing. Anything.
Star Trek 5 was pretty horrible.
Star Trek 5 is pretty bad.
I would
what are
definitely
you
put
talking
this
about?
movie
It's
above
the
that.
best
But
thing ever. Okay, I can't even
Mm.
lie about it. It's well, anyway,
Anyway,
5 exists.
let's move on to
Moving
Star
on.
Trek Nemesis, which
yes.
I'm going to go ahead and say it because it's a controversial opinion. Not a lot of people agree with me. It's my favorite of the four. I think it is the best one of the four.
I'm going to agree with you on that, by the way. That's my number one of the four. So.
That is, it is,
Yeah.
it's really good. And like, I went into it watching it again yesterday, worried that my memory of it was like rose tinted and that like I was not seeing its flaws. But no, it really is as good as I remembered. I freaking love this movie. I love everything about it. I think Tom Hardy as this failed Picard clone is really great. He's awesome. And the way
he
he
did a great job.
Physically deteriorates as the movie goes on is really cool.
Yeah.
I like the whole mirror thing. You've got Picard talking to his younger self. And yeah, again, it's not subtle. It says the theme like 50 times. But you've also got Data and B4 and you know, you've got the greatest space battle in any Star Trek movie, and I dare you to debate me on this. I think the space battle in this movie is amazing. It is so cool.
Well, it's like no holds bar. I mean, they're ramming each other, right?
They ram each other. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
They're just like we've had enough.
He thinks he knows what I'm going to do
There's
next.
no further moments for real, man. We're just we're gonna ram you now.
And then he tries to just turn on the self-destruct, you know, and then the self-destruct is offline. Yeah, it's kind of stupid if you think about it, but it's really funny.
Yeah.
I love that the ship comes in and it shoots at the view screen, and then the view screen freaking explodes.
Yeah.
And Bryan
That was
Singer
awesome.
gets thrown out into space. I love it.
And now they're actually like looking out a hole in the ship at the other ship.
So
Like,
cool.
instead of a view screen.
So cool.
Yeah.
Like we're being hailed. Put it on screen. Oh, I mean, open a ship.
Yeah.
There's no screen.
And it does that three-dimensional battle thing that like you've got 4 different ships all at once, and they're all fighting basically 3 ships on one, and they're all fighting in different angles, 3-dimensional.
They're coming in on Z coordinates and stuff. Yeah.
So cool. And they're having to modulate their shields, not just like the front, the back, and the sides, but they're also the dorsal and the bottom and the
I
central.
really like
I love it.
It's such great music too, man.
That's one thing I will say about all 4 of these movies. All 4 of these movies have amazing music. The music is great.
But I really like it because, like,
they are.
when you get into like the Senate scene, right? You know that music just boom, boom, just hits into your head, right? And you're caught up in it, and then like everybody starts dying, turning to stone. You're like, whoa, what's happening here, right? But that music is just like that. It's great. It's hard hitting. It's pounding in my head right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, it's just amazing what you can do when you fire Jonathan Frakes and add some money to the budget, ain't it?
Ooh.
They hired the editor, Stuart Byard, who directed this one. Is
I
the
looked it
editor
up
of
to
the
make
previous
sure.
3 movies. He does a good job as a director. Like I have no complaints. There are a couple of shots where they try to do this like slow motion, but they obviously do it after the fact. Like they didn't film it in slow motion. They do it a lot in this movie, and it's really weird. And it kind of distracts me a lot because it's kind of jumpy fast. It's like jumpy slow-mo. They do it like in a couple of fight scenes, especially with Ron Perlman and Jonathan Frakes. And they do it in the flashbacks, which it's weird. I don't know. That's just a little tiny nitpick that bothers me.
Well, you know, for me that was a really good movie because I was out of high school, right? And one of my friends was working at the theater, and then
I knew you were going to tell us.
The boss was like, "Yeah, come work," right? So I, sending everybody to the theaters. It was awesome. It was just a really good movie, right? People asking me what happens before the movie is even, playing yet. I'm like, are you sure you want me to spoil it? A lot of people did. It was crazy. Anyways. But it was awesome, right? It's great. Like,
did you spoil it by telling them to wait till they come out on video?
No.
You
What?
don't know. You should have warned them.
No. No. I didn't know that it was going to go cockapoo. I did not know this. I was young. I was really young.
Honestly, this movie was so bad that I did everything I possibly could to erase it from my memory. I
Couldn't
Well,
disagree with you more, Dan. I love this movie.
to recirculate.
It is the lowest grossing of all four of them, and
Yeah, I
one
mean,
of the
they stopped
lowest
making
rated,
Star Trek movies because of this.
Yeah, and one of the lowest rated on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic and
Which
whatnot.
I think is a damn
But
crime.
I agree with you. I think it's a crime considering how bad Insurrection was.
Yeah.
Here's the bad part.
It's like,
bad
and this
part
is so much better.
The bad part is this is probably to me the second best one of the whole Next Generation movies.
Mhm. And this one actually had a reasonable plot to it. I mean,
I really
Yeah.
did. I love the special effects where the ships are crashing into each other, all the battle stuff.
Mhm.
I love how like Picard's face is after Shinzon slides into him, right?
Oh,
After that, right? And he just
I think we
grabs
could
his
have
hand.
come up. I think we could have come up with a little bit better name than Shitzon.
Well, anyways, but like that whole scene, like you could feel it, man. You could like feel him dragging himself through the spike, right? Like you could feel that, and the Picard's just like, I can't believe this is still happening. You die now. Just go ahead and die.
Yeah, and then he
Okay.
just I do question why he completely freezes up after that. Like he just stands there while basically
Well,
his entire ship's about to be blown up.
Thankfully, Data was there for the rescue.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, he
saved
had to-
Picard, but of course, sacrificed himself.
I will say that like them giving that send off to Data
Yeah.
is like a perfect send off for the entire
And
Next
then-
Generation.
And then they retconned the whole thing for like Picard series.
Yeah,
All
Data
day.
should
I
have
was like,
stayed
what
Yeah.
are you doing? And then
before
there's
having his
planet-
memories. Like it in the movie
Look.
itself, it says that is not the same thing as Data. That he's just going to have
Exactly.
Data's memories. He's still going to be his own person. That's like part of the
Mhm.
theme of the movie.
Yeah.
And they
Right.
completely misread it in Picard, and they said,
But
"Oh
that-
yeah, Data's back." No, he's not.
Yeah. Anyways, it's awful.
B4 didn't have the neural net, sophisticated enough neural net to support Data's functioning.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
he was basically a child, and
Yeah.
would never be anything but that. So I don't
And
understand
I
how they
agree,
can bring him
geek
back.
culture. I think in a lot of franchises like this, sometimes when one movie is really bad but it does well at the box
It
office, like
kills
the
the
next
franchise.
movie is what gets punished. Like
Yeah.
Well,
that happens all the time.
Anyways.
Yeah.
And then they have giant flowers taking out spaceships.
But even though I like The Last Jedi, I know that most fans hate it, and that's why Solo did so bad. Even though Solo, as a Star Wars movie, is actually one of the better Disney Star Wars movies. It's actually not bad.
Dude,
Agreed.
I
But
saw
like
that
it
in Chinese
flopped
Fan Theater.
because of The Last Jedi.
Hey, let's don't talk about
Yeah.
Star Wars. I still got 2 more movies to go in here.
No, we don't. This is
No, we
it.
don't. This is it.
This is the last one.
Yeah. Have you been paying attention at all?
Not sure I remember what happened. Don't want to mess it up.
Oh, you have 2 more movies to go in your Star Wars. I get it now.
Oh,
Oh.
gotcha.
I just experienced the life and times of a black stormtrooper.
Okay.
I will say
So,
it's weird
anyway.
that in all 4 of these movies, it ends with Picard fighting the bad guy on a timer. All 4 of them.
Well,
Which is
yeah,
Weird.
Mhm.
very James Bond.
But I do like this one. I like that he's fighting his clone. He's fighting Tom Hardy, and Tom Hardy freaking nails it. He's
Mhm.
so good.
Yeah, he did a really.
He even
good
has a
job
lot
in
of the
this
Patrick Stewart
Once again, they could have
mannerisms
called
and
him.
stuff.
They should have named him Lucas or something like that.
They
They did
should,
not.
yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, but they
It's-
wanted to make it a surprise that he was human, which they
Mhm.
didn't need to do.
John Shithead. What
Oh wow,
Yeah.
I was surprised.
horrible name.
What I had completely forgotten when rewatching this a few days ago that Ron Perlman, and I know you already mentioned it. Ron Perlman
Yeah.
was in this as the Riemann Viceroy, and it's like I was watching, and I was like, he came up, started talking to Shinzon, and I was like, that's Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman in this? Like, get out Google. It's like cast or your cast of the thing. It's like that is Ron Perlman. It's like holy crap.
Yeah,
He
you're
did a
right.
really
It's
good
really
job.
the voice.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
mistaking Ron Perlman's
I mean, I
voice.
could tell
Oh,
by
yeah.
I saw his eyes and just the shape of his face, even under all that makeup. It's
Even
like
under all the Nosferatu makeup.
yeah, that's Ron
Yeah,
Perlman.
boy.
Right?
Yeah. So as soon as he spoke, it confirmed it in my mind, and I was like, I gotta look it up now. Yep, that's Ron Perlman. I can't believe it. He's in a Star Trek movie.
Yeah,
but-
and he's really good. And I like
Mhm.
that, Troy has her comeuppance on him. And the toxic masculine part of me really is satisfied that Riker is the one who gets to kill him. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, let me say something about that whole part. What part
Yeah.
of the ship is this long corridor?
Oh yeah, that's so dumb. It's the
Getting
Sigourney
the
Weaver
hallway
in Galaxy
in.
Quest line. What is the
Right.
point of this hallway?
Yeah, right. I'm like, is this where the beryllium spear is? What is
Yeah.
happening here? Why is this a scene?
It's not as egregious as the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, where they have that Romulan ship, which is basically just nothing but hallways or like
It's just
catwalks without any
platforms.
railings
It's
Yeah,
just everywhere.
yeah.
What is that?
platforms.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what was the
you-
point in that?
You jumped, like my knees are blown out.
They're all
What
just
is
hanging
this?
out on catwalks in the middle of a big void in the middle of the
Yeah.
ship. When I saw that, I was like,
Yeah, human data.
what's the point in this giant ship if it's just encompassing a void? Why would you need all that, atmosphere in there?
And
anyway.
Tom Hardy makes a
Yeah.
much better like pseudo Romulan on a
Mhm.
quest for vengeance, on a suicidal quest for vengeance than
Mhm.
Kirk Bana, I think, was the guy who played him in Star Trek. I
Well,
don't even remember.
Anyways, silly things are always going to be silly.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot worse in Star Trek. I actually saw this one 2-part episode where the dad from that 70s show was going around in time trying to kill people. And
That was
changed
the
it.
episode of Voyager. That was a really
Yeah.
year of hell.
I have seen some really bad Star Trek.
That actor has been in a lot of Star Trek. He's been on.
Mhm.
He was on Next Generation. He was on Deep Space Nine, and he was on Voyager. Yeah,
Yeah.
They
3
can't
different
get him-
characters. He's no
He's
Jeffrey
like-
Combs, or but he's been.
Dude, Jeffrey Combs is awesome. Love the dude. Jeffrey Combs shook this hand.
I love Jeffrey Combs.
Right.
I swear to God, he holds the record for getting killed in Deep Space Nine episodes, don't he?
Oh yeah, because he just kept
Every
getting
time he
flown.
gets cloned, he gets killed all the time. He's like
I love
Kenny.
that.
You kill that-
He was like
He's
Kenny.
like
Yeah,
Kenny on South Park.
Mhm.
You kill that bastard, and he comes back the next episode.
I love that about him. He's great.
Yeah. Well, anyways.
You would think that they would have brought him into more like into the movies,
I wish they
'Cause
had. I wish
had
Jeffrey
so
Combs had
many-
shown up in the movie,
so
yeah.
many roles in the different series. So.
And the
Well,
thing is,
I-
he played so many different roles, and he did them really, really well. Like he was
Mhm.
great as the Andorian bad guy in Enterprise.
Oh, I
and he was-
loved him as the Andorian bad
he's
guy. I thought that
also
was the
great as
greatest
the Vorta
role.
in Deep Space
Yeah,
Nine.
yeah, he was.
He's also great as Brunt, the
Mhm.
Ferengi
Front FCA.
Yeah,
auditor, basically.
Yeah.
And y'all know way more about it than I do.
Artwood
Starts
Smith,
all day
that's the
long.
actor.
That's
explained
fine.
that to me, so, yeah.
Mm.
Thank you, Tracy.
Yeah.
Indy's not here to do it, so somebody has to pick up the slack.
Terrible. Indeed,
Anyway.
what we do.
Like I said, I will defend Nemesis.
Whoa.
I think the title's kind of, but like I will defend it. I freaking love it. I think.
Well, I
it's the best of
mean,
the four.
if this is Picard's nemesis, I can understand.
I get why they use
yeah.
the word Nemesis,
Yeah.
but yeah,
They could have picked a better title.
Yeah.
But yeah.
it's better
But,
than
you know,
Insurrection.
Well, they like to stick with those one-word titles, except for First Contact. It's like Generations, Generations, Insurrection, Nemesis.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
But-
at least they
Like,
didn't do like Star Trek Resurrection. It's like
Hey,
almost over.
Nemesis is a better title than Picard beating himself.
Picard beats himself.
They could have called it like Star Trek Face Off or something, or
Oh.
And another thing, if he was a clone
Star
of
Trek: The
Picard,
Clone Wars.
if he was a Picard, if he was a clone of Picard, but
Mhm.
was a younger version of Picard, did he choose to be bald, or has Picard just always been bald? Did this mother ever have any hair?
There's
Picard had hair.
conflicting data on that in the TV
Yes.
show. In the Next Generation TV show, there is episodes where you see a picture of Picard when he's younger and he has hair.
And no
Um,
hair. It's awful.
And then
It's
in
like-
this movie, like, sure, I could buy that maybe he shaved his head to look like Picard. Fine, that would be cool. But no, then they show a picture of Picard when he's young and he's bald, and I'm just like, no.
I love your sour face.
I
What are you
think it
doing?
would have just been a little bit better if he knew about Picard but had never really seen him. and he
Yeah, I
had
think
this
that's what they were
long
going
hair.
for.
And
Yeah.
then the
And,
first
you know-
time he meets him, then he shaves the head.
Ah, that would have been
would be-
awesome.
Mm.
That would have been so much better.
Yeah, that would have been so much
You
better.
are
Lazy
right. You're
buggers, they
absolutely
don't know how to
right.
write their
Yeah,
own shit.
I could also see like where his disease that's killing him causes him to lose his hair.
Right. Yeah. that
Because
makes
he's
sense.
dying from because he didn't get to go through the accelerated growth process or whatever. So
That's a good second option,
yeah.
but I think
Okay,
Dan's
so he-
option is
Well,
better.
anyway,
So when he meets
so
Picard,
much-
he's got
yeah,
that
for
little
sure.
Hogan head, he's got
Yeah.
that little ball spot going on
Yeah.
or whatever.
Anyway, this was the first movie I'd ever seen Tom Hardy in. Like, I'd never
Mhm.
even known him before this. And like watching it now, he looks so freaking young. He looks like a teenager practically.
Wow, I just now realized I've got the Picard look now.
Yeah, you got the Picard.
do
I'm
the
a first
Picard.
Stone Cold Steve
Picard,
Austin.
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
wait, was Will Wheaton actually in?
He had more scenes at the wedding. And they
oh.
cut him out.
Yeah,
He's talking about
yeah. That
Um,
was just
I will
What was
say,
he
of
there
all
for?
the ways to contrive to get the crew together, this one is the one that this is the only one that makes sense to me. Like, and actually, like, is okay, fine. They're doing this wedding thing for Riker and Troy, and so they're all together and moving from one place to the next. They're going to Beta Z when all this happens. That actually makes sense. It's a lot better than Worf showing up in Insurrection. I don't even remember what the excuse was. It was really stupid.
Whoa.
They swung by, or no, that was in First Contact. They swung by and picked him up. That's right.
Right.
Because he was in the
He was
Defiant
just
or
there.
whatever. And,
Right.
In
Yeah.
Insurrection, I can't.
He's just
remember I can't
there, and
remember
they
the
say
excuse. Yeah.
something, but I don't remember what they
Yeah.
said.
I
I
don't
just
know,
remember
it
it was
was-
really dumb.
Yeah, it was something
Yeah.
about like their guests or it was stupid. Whatever. I
Yeah.
don't know. Some people was eating flowers. Whatever. Who cares? Yeah, I mean, you can't even just do anything without your guests eating the flowers. Nobody told me they were vegetarians. Did they not get a menu at all of what they ate? What are we doing here?
I feel like just like in First Contact and even in Generations, I feel like the humor was integrated a lot better than in Insurrection, where it just always felt forced to be an Insurrection. Whereas in this one, it felt natural. It didn't feel like anybody was like tonally off by telling a joke. Like even in First Contact, there's Riker tells Worf, "You do remember how to fire phasers," which is funny, but this is in the middle of a battle with the Borg where everybody's dead. This is not
It's
the time
hilarious.
for that.
It's hilarious. Look at those dead people. Anyways, it was funny. Tuesday.
But I feel like in this movie they get it right. Like I feel like
Mhm.
in this
Once
one,
again, they got it right enough to be to be right up there with First Contact for the better of the better of these next generation movies. Just remembering that none of these next generation movies are in any way, shape, or form better than any of the original crew movies. Any of them. Even
I'm going to
Vulcan-
disagree with that.
yeah,
but,
I'm definitely going to disagree with that. I'm going to say that Star Trek's 2, 4, and 6 are all better than all 4 of these. I will agree with you there.
I think Star
But
Trek
1,
4 is
3,
just
and
the best
5?
of them all.
Mm,
One. Yeah, okay, maybe one. Because people didn't understand it. They didn't get the concept that they were going for.
I kind of
God.
liked Star Trek 3. That one was I actually enjoyed that movie. But
Yeah, Star Trek 3 is great. The Search for
Yeah.
Spock or something.
I mean,
Yeah.
you got Christopher Lloyd as a
exactly. Yeah. He,
That dog
Exactly.
thing
I'm not
was
saying it's
cool.
bad.
That wonderful one. You got
You're
the
wrong.
wonderful one, the best one where they go back in time looking for some damn wells and stuff.
So
That's
Star
number
Trek
4.
4 will always be my favorite. I love that one. It's the funniest out of all of them.
That is
and
definitely
it's
the
just
funniest
Number
Star
4
Trek
is the
movie,
funniest
and
one.
like
Oh,
again,
yeah.
the humor in it
But
makes
it's
sense.
actually better.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
different reasons, it's probably better. They proved that they could do a good Star Trek movie without blowing stuff up and trying to kill people all the time.
Well, I mean, you got Spock in
while
his
saving
underwear.
whales in the process.
I
Yeah.
know, right?
And
It was
in the
like
real
his
world too.
Yeah.
Right.
Humpback
It
isn't
had
on
more
the beach
entertainment
anymore.
value than a lot of the science fiction stuff they do with big explosions and shit.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
Star
anyways,
Trek's
did
really
you
great.
guys see that Babbitt or the Superman movie? Look, I don't even know what it is anymore. It's awful. Anyways, it's a CGI mess of ugh.
I want to be excited about the Superman movie, and there's
Well, I
things
saw
I
that
like
trailer.
James
I
Gunn
am
comic
not.
book movies. I do, but it looks like a mess. It looks like there's way too much going on. It looks like the tone is way too silly for Superman. And I mean, Yeah, it's like a overcorrecting from Zack Snyder Superman. It's going way too far in the other
Well,
direction.
anyways, it looks awful, so I'm gonna opt out.
And yeah,
Opt
way
out.
too much CG. It's CG.
Oh
bloat.
yeah,
I'm worried about it. I will see it and I will report back, but I'm worried. More worried than Chance for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw the trailer for the Naked Gun remake, and
I want to see that.
I'd heard about Liam Neeson, and I was thinking, oh, this is going to be horrible. But I stand corrected. I saw the trailer, and I'm going to give it a chance because the trailer made me laugh so hard.
There are a few good jokes in that trailer.
If the trailer makes you laugh that hard, the movie might actually be good.
Yeah,
I think
hopefully
it's
not
good.
all the funny bits are in the trailer. That would be sad.
Oh, I hate when it happens.
Well, you got to admit,
that's the whole movie right there. Yeah.
Did you laugh out loud when they're doing the things where all the dead agents' kids are looking at their picture?
Yeah.
And then they get to OJ's picture, and his son looks around and goes, "Nah, man."
Yeah, like you, Dan, I was skeptical, but that trailer's it's kind of sold me on it. I'll check it out. Yeah.
You gotta have faith in Liam Neeson. Most Liam Neeson movies, whether you like them or not, are well done.
No, he's good.
Well,
Yeah,
he's
I like Liam Neeson.
I don't always
It's just the thought of replacing Leslie Nielsen is so weird to me. Yeah.
It's not replacing him. It's just, it's like Son of the Pink Panther, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Son of the Pink Panther was
Maverick.
a great movie. It was a great movie, Son of the Pink Panther was. Actually. Surprisingly enough.
Anyway, we are at an hour and a half. And I think we should call it. I don't yet know what the subject's going to be next week, but I'm pretty sure the week after that I'm gonna talk about Superman because I'm gonna have seen it. So maybe I'll try to get Chance on if he's available, but his schedule is very wonky these days.
True.
Anyway,
the Superman movie is actually one I'll be going to see really soon.
Yeah, so maybe you and I can talk about it too.
I'm looking so forward to being in a theater full of screaming, hollering, snotty-nosed kids watching
Tell me about it.
When I could be doing anything else on earth, but anything.
So anyway, speaking of Superman, like I said earlier, there is a review of Supergirl coming out in like 34 minutes on my channel. Check that out, all you Helen Slater fans. And no, she's not related to Christian Slater. Stop asking.
Did you at least talk about the TV series a little bit?
A tiny bit, not much, but I did mention it at least. I talk about the Wonder Woman TV series too, so the original.
I've got that on DVD.
Yeah. So yeah, look forward to that, and I'll see you next week. Where again, the subject is TBD. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It'll be the thing.
So yeah. Anybody have anything else they want to plug or say or do?
Probably this Thursday again. It will probably be a show. So everything works
out. Good. I missed not having one last week.
Well, yeah, I had some other real life things to do.
Oh my! Wow!
I know.
Stupid.
Yeah, very much so. I also got to get a package together for Snarky. Ooh, sitting here seeds.
Goodbye. Goodbye to everybody in the chat.
Happy
Carolyn, Tracy, thanks for showing up.
I'll be checking out Bobby Sherman comic books this week.
Bobby Sherman.
Going on is I'm going to remember the legacy of Bobby Sherman by checking out some comic books from when he was really popular.
Yeah.
Before I was born. Yep.
Most good things happen before you were born.
Oh, crud.
When
I walk into that one, whoa.
It's been all downhill since you came into the world.
What? You're welcome. At least you have a point of origin for all that. Anyways. All right.
Okay, I'm going to hit the button now. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you and good night.
Ah.